Hello, everybody. Aaron here, and welcome to part one of two of my 36th birthday Collins report. Yeah, we're not doing 6 parts like I did last year. That was a major screw of things, and less is more. So, this will focus exclusively on the Saturday, part two, the Sunday. Saturday starts with me waking up early, which I'm very glad I did. I'm expecting something to go very wrong, like a ton of people backing out at more or less the same time, which is basically what happened last year due to the ice storm. Instead, my farmer phone dies. I'd been expecting it for a bit. I mean, it was kind of starting to go on its last legs, and I was planning to buy one at the end of my next billing cycle. It's just, it dies now instead on the Saturday of my birthday. Worst non-fatal luck I've had in a while. Thankfully, I had already showered after I realized, well, no, before I realized that the phone was dead, so I basically had to sprint to the nearest bus stop to get to the Brantley City Center, walked frantically in the city center as people were opening up their stores to start business for the day, to Freedom Mobile, who were just opening themselves. I bought an LG X Power 3. I was out the door in 10 minutes. I take a regular cab back to my house, begin downloading apps I absolutely needed for that weekend, specifically Facebook, Instagram, and Uber. I pack my Cards Against Humanity box of awesome and other supplies into the suitcase I usually use before I go to my mother's. I Uber down to Survive the Night, which is at 1100 Courtney Park Drive East. It was a nice Ford Fusion. I arrive, I surveyed the parking lot. For the first time in my life, I noticed that David Ross's car has a vanity plate, which I will not say here for respect to his privacy, but it is great that Dave, Jason, and Liana are already here. Yay. By this point, I've accepted that my friends Kate, Melinda, and Melinda's daughter Delaney aren't coming, but was happy that Mike Fitch arrived. Ken and Jessica barely arrived on time. Actually, we might have been about 90 seconds late. But whatever. This was. If last year was the year of my friends either being pregnant or their significant others being pregnant, this was the year of sick kids and moving days regarding people backing out. First room of the day involved Cursed Medieval Villagers. I'll try to describe as best I can without spoiling. It is a several room facility. I can now see why they've maxed it at 12 people per, which is pretty much the biggest in the Greater Toronto Area unless you want to go to Black Creek Pioneer Village. There's... Every room is equally important. The atmosphere is insane. The Cursed Villager trying to throw you in jail is a nice twist, although you can remove that on request. Something I've noticed about Survive the Night that is kind of distinct from other escape room facilities is you have to collect coins to purchase hints rather than just get a set amount of hints for the time limit. I have no shame in admitting that the Cursed Villager room kicked our ass. Dave Ross had to leave early on account of Passover being over, and I really should have known better. Jessica and Ken had errands to run, so they left. Mike stayed, as did Jason and Liana, but in the case of the latter two, they used the downtime to get food, which I get because there was about a 45-minute gap between my first room and my second room. Then there's the hour of the second room itself. Although when I got out of the Cursed Villager room, two of the people, Doug and Damon, were already there playing Star Wars Battleship. Mike Smith arrives, commented that I posted the wrong address. Between that and David Ross saying that itself was hard to find, which, yeah, it kind of is. It's a pretty nondescript building. I'm definitely buying a poster board and making my own sign for 2020. Pat shows up. then Anthony and his girlfriend Katie. Ryan Carava is last, but at least I had time to introduce everyone. Mainly as Andre, the night shift team lead of my second job, no-showed, and I later found out someone from his family in Jamaica just randomly showed up the Thursday before and no notice at all. The zombie room is about the same layout as the Cursed Villager room, except that it's supposed to evoke images of mine shafts. There's actual mine carts inside the place. One distinct difference is that there are points to crawl, whereas the Cursed Villager room and the Vampire room that I did Sunday, you can just walk around. You have free reign. The only way you would notice anything amiss is if you were like 7'3", something like that. We were awarded a technical win in the zombie room due to reporting 2 broken locks. They were just like, yeah, okay, you would have had this otherwise, so we're just gonna count this as a win. Everybody from the zombie room then combined with Mike Fitch, Jason Liana to form the largest live game of Cards Against Humanity that I've ever played at 11 people. And then I score 0 points. I suck. I won't go into too much detail as to the Saturday Cards Against Humanity game, as this one was filmed. Anybody on my Facebook can peruse the game at their leisure. It's over 2 videos because I had to break part way through because the majority of them went out and got stoned. With my killing my Instagram, I think I can go without a tripod. I'll still buy one. Anthony and Kate left partway through the game, so it would have been weird if either one of them had won. The game ends in a 5-way tie, so I just said, screw it, everybody pull out 1 white card. I'll read out 1 black, I'll pick the winner, that breaks the tie. Doug suggested 3 white cards so that there was at least some options, and I have to concede that was actually a very good idea. Both Mikes, Ryan and Damon, left before dinner. So Pat and I are in one Uber. Doug, Jason, and Liana are in the other. We go off to Boston Pizza, which is down the street at 50 or 80 Courtney Park Drive East. It's in the Highway 10 Courtney Park complex in Mississauga. I had the Memphis chicken sandwich with a bowl of French onion soup because I hadn't had French onion soup in a while and wanted something different. Boston Pizza hooked me up with a brownie and ice cream complete with a candle. Jason and Liana head home to Toronto, which is relatively easy from where we were. Pat, Doug, and I bus back to Brampton as A, Doug's my roommate, and B, Pat lives in almost the same neighborhood we do. Pat gets off first, obviously. I drop my stuff off because I'm not going to bring Cards Against Humanity to a karaoke bar. Shower, bus to Celtic in Brampton. By now, Doug has called it a night. I should have understood that Celtic not guaranteeing a reservation meant that it would be packed. It was near full capacity at 9:15 p.m. and karaoke doesn't start till 10 o'clock at night. Like, I got there and my buddy Jonathan, who's the DJ of the karaoke, is still setting up speakers. Pat returns. My new friends Paul and Ashley arrive. I was really grateful that they showed up because I'd only met them at Pat's birthday a few weeks prior. Part of my frustration from that night came from my fear of people not seeing me. Kudos to Melinda, who actually showed up without her kid, obviously, for not only having the foresight to show me her Uber via Facebook Messenger, but finding Jonathan, knowing he was the DJ, and asking him where I was. I randomly flail my arms, and Jonathan just goes, "Over there!" If there was a moment where I wanted my former best friend turned former nemesis turned guy I see once every couple of years, Colin Wright, if there was one moment where I wanted him there, that would have been it. Andrew and Scarlett are last, but by no means least. I pride myself on my punctuality and kind of get annoyed when people are late, and I really need to work on that. I'm aware of that, and I also know that Scarlett is eternally on the schedule of Elias. So, to everybody who was annoyed by my frustrations that night, I'm extremely sorry. Andrew and Scarlett bought me presents. My Sunday pictures on my Facebook page show what they are. It was a black t-shirt with the words Center of the Aaronverse written on it in the exact Crimes Against Humanity font, and a baseball cap with the words My Anxiety Has Anxiety written on it. I sang one song, Stinkfist by Tool. I was decent, just shy of excellent. Due to being bumped 3 times and the crowd continually requesting, I think we had 40 different singers. Well, Jonathan could probably verify that one way or the other. There was no time for me to do a second song, much less a third. For the record, my second would have been God's Gonna Cut You Down by Johnny Cash, and my third would have been Cure My Tragedy by Cold. Scarlett then comes out, she's a former employee of the Celtic, and presents me with a platter of special ghost pepper wings. As I've been led to understand, the ghost pepper wings at Celtic, the ghost pepper sauce is diluted with the mild sauce in order to make it more palatable for the not so spice freaks. And she walked in there and went, "Yeah, my friend Aaron has eaten a Carolina Reaper pretzel with the Carolina Reaper in the middle of it. So yeah, you guys just might as well just make a full-on ghost pepper wing platter for him." Melinda, Paul, and Ashley left at about the same time. Andrew then explains the fight that happened the previous week at Celtic. Basically, I'm not friends with the primary victim, but I did know him indirectly through various friends. And due to Celtic's complete indifference in this matter, yeah, Celtic, you've lost a customer. One of the reasons why I blocked Celtic a few days ago. I Ubered home. It was my second consecutive Ford Fusion. I had a panic attack because I was trying hard not to have one in Celtic. I ended up having a more severe one in the confines of my own home. And then I had what is becoming known as an autism crash, and I will now explain the difference between the two of them. An anxiety attack is pretty self-explanatory. Your anxiousness just goes up to a level where you feel like you're falling apart. An autism crash is when somebody on the autistic spectrum operates at a level higher than a level of functionality than what they're used to. In order to balance things, you crash into a lower point of functionality. Some people even go temporarily catatonic. I can actually feel autism crashes as they're happening, and it's literally like your psyche is putting a gun to your head, and you as a hostage are forced at gunpoint to watch as various parts of you shut down, and you don't know if they're coming back on. That's what I go through. They say the average person on the autistic spectrum has about 1 to 2 autism crashes every year they're alive. And most of them are so mild they probably won't even know what it is. Based on various tests doctors have had performed on me, EEGs, CAT scans, MRIs, psychiatric evaluations, etc., they can't put a defined number next to me. They just estimate that it's somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 autism crashes. Now, considering that I'm only maybe 23,000 days old, give or take, I'm not going to do the math while I'm filming this. That basically means I average one about every week, week and a half I'm alive. That, I wouldn't wish it on anybody, and one of my patented expressions is something I'm going to say now. I'm sorry for what I am. And that's the end of part 1. Part 2 is Sunday. I don't know when I'll film it, much less upload it, so Until next time, I'm Aaron, and unlike Storage Wars, my show's scripted. Thanks a lot.